Hi, I'm Eileen Bild. I'm with OTEL Talk, and today I have with me Stephen K. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am great. I can't wait to dig into our conversation because Stephen K. is a multi-award-winning country singer-songwriter and Nashville recording artist, and you just have a new release.
Oh man, yes we do. It's been in the making for a long time, I think, because the song Turn the Page that I got to do the remix on in my own fashion was originally recorded and written by Bob Segar. And when I was approached by my producers asking if I could record whatever song, iconic song out there and do a remake of it that I wanted to do, what would it be? And I said, without a doubt, Turn the Page, because I've performed it so many times, thousands of times at my live shows all over. And having a chance to remake that was fantastic. So I answered them, and of course they said, "Well, we're gonna make some calls. We'll get back a hold of you." So I said, "Okay." And about the next day, they called me back and they said, "Hey, we just got the licensing and the permission from Bob Segar and his people for you to remake Turn the Page." And it floored me. I was like, wow, really? And that's when all the work began. So the production was done between Omni Soundstage and the world famous Family Room recording studios in Nashville. And that's where all the icons of music have done their recordings, from Garth Brooks to George Strait to Elvis, George Jones, all of them. And being able to work in those studios at the point that I'm at in my career now is fantastic, because I get to work with the best of the best in the music industry.
And now
And to me, it's a huge blessing.
All along Lonesome Highway, east of Omaha, you can listen to the engine moaning out its one-note song. You can think about the woman or the girl you knew the night before. Your thoughts will soon be wandering where they always do when you're riding 16 hours and there's nothing left to do. You don't feel much like riding, just wish the trip was through.
Oh, absolutely. And now you're part of that group of people, since you have been able to record in the same location. And it's got to be a dream come true, since you've been
It
playing that song
absolutely
for a long
is.
time. Yeah. And
It's one of my favorite songs. So to be able to do it and to remix it with the instrumentals the way that I wanted to, that I hear it in my head, was amazing. And still pay homage to the original song itself that won so many awards when it was recorded in the 70s. So it was amazing. It was an amazing project to work on, and one that I'm extremely proud of.
oh, I'm sure it'll definitely go down in history as part of your life legacy and what you've worked so hard for all these years, which you've been in music a long time.
Yeah, 42 years. It's been quite a career. I started out playing in the small places in my local areas with my local bands, and we just kind of took over the area. We became the band that everybody wanted to hear in our local area. So and it was a lot of fun. We did that for years. And in 2000, the end of 2020, basically the first month of 2021, so January 1st, COVID was just running rampant. And I lost 128 shows in that single day. And there was no music to be played on the West Coast. So my wife and I decided, you know what, we're going to take a risk. And we're going to go ahead and go on tour. And we're going to tour in the South. So we had to race the snowstorms out of the mountains of Eastern Oregon to get out of there. So we ended up starting out in Arizona, and we got to Arizona, and there was nobody wearing masks, and we were like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And there was music being played everywhere. Then we got to Texas, same exact thing, music being played, everything was open and running as normal. And then we made the run from Texas to Nashville, Tennessee. And we were in downtown Nashville. There were 150,000 people on the streets partying. And it was a wonderful thing to see. There was music in every building and every window, and everybody was having a ball. So we had that first round of tour was just absolutely wonderful. We had a lot to learn. And we learned a lot of lessons along the way, but we also had a lot of wonderful experiences, played a lot of wonderful shows, and made a lot of connections. And we've been doing this now on the road for going on 3 years now.
Well, here I am on the road again. There I am up on the stage. Go, playing the star again. There I go, turn the page.
So we went from the pull behind trailers, really nice pull behinds that were comfortable, to the tour bus we're in now. And now I'm getting to work with all the major players in the industry, and it's been absolutely wonderful. And being able to do Turn the Page is an absolute dream come true for me. It's one of those things that I always dreamed about and always wanted to do, but did never think I was going to get to. And now that I have, I still can't believe that I got to do that song and that it was approved and endorsed by Bob Segar. And so I'm pretty proud of that fact, because Bob is a very, very private man, and it was something I didn't expect.
It's amazing. And, the fact that you say that you have dreamed about it, I believe in the power of our thoughts. And I believe that because it was in your heart and you're a musician from your heart, that it's only it was only a matter of time before something like that would happen. So that's a testament to your commitment, to music.
Oh. Well, the thing people need to understand is I've got an absolutely wonderful wife that's also my road manager. And without her, I couldn't have achieved what I've achieved, because she pushes me to keep moving forward. And she was the first one to say, all right, you know what? There's no music here on the West Coast. Let's go. Let's go find where it's being played. And we did.
Yeah.
Here's a fun story, if you don't mind.
Oh, no. I love stories. Go ahead.
We were on the road, and I was having one of those moments where things just weren't going the way that I thought they should be. And so she went in and she found George Strait's manager online, and she wrote him a letter, an email. She sent him an email. She says, I'm not asking for anything. We just need some advice. And, she told him about what we were doing and everything else. And lo and behold, he wrote her back personally.
Wow.
And said, you know what? You guys are doing what everybody else is afraid to do. You're out on the road, you're touring, You're building your numbers, you're building your audience, you're building your brand. He says you're doing it right. And to hear that was a huge boost. And it was thrilling for Carolyn because we didn't think we'd get a response back, but we did. And things have been getting better and better and better since then. I work with my producers, Adam Knight and Christopher Latham, are two of the most powerhouse producers in Nashville. And I have the honor to work with those guys, and they are both wonderful men. I've gotten to work with Reba McEntire's band, George Strait's Ace and the whole band. I've had Vince Gill play on some of my songs for me. On Turn the Page, I had Blake Masters, Garth Brooks' keyboardist, playing keys and piano for me on that. And Reba's band back in the rest of the song, along with Trisha Yearwood's background vocalist doing the background vocals. So it's been a hugely wonderful blessing and a wonderful experience to be able to put these songs together and work with these guys, not only on Turn the Page, but my previous album, Memories and Milestones. That was my last tour that we just finished up. And to be able to do what we're doing now it's amazing. It's been a lot of hard work, a lot of stress, and frankly, very expensive. But it's now starting to pay off, and it's paying the dividends, which is nice.
That's a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing. And I think when people listen, especially if they're musicians who are trying to make it in the world, it sounds like it's just keep on keeping on. Don't give up, and ask for help, ask for mentors, or talk to mentors, talk to the people that you admire. It sounds like you just kept pushing forward, and your wife, I love her. God bless her. I mean, she's very strong, and I'm glad that she was behind you and helping you to become the better version of yourself. And I'm sure you will continue.
Walk into a restaurant, strung out from the cold. You can feel the eyes upon you as you're shaking off the cold. Pretend it doesn't bother you, but you just want to explode. Sometimes you can hear them talk, other times you can. It's the same old cliche. Is it woman, is it man? You always feel outnumbered, but you don't dare make a stand. Well, here I am on the road again. There I am up on the stage. Well, here I go, playing the star again. There I go, turn the page.
I do. I got kind of spoiled at an early age. I was around music icons from a very early age. Ferlin Husky, On the Wings of a Snow White Dove.
Mm.
He was my grandfather's best friend. Ferlin taught me how to play my first notes on a guitar. And at the age of 8, I got to step on my first professional stage with my mentor, Charlie Daniels. And so I was very, very spoiled and hooked on music from a very early age. And it's just continued to build, and it's something that I can't stop doing. It's in my blood, and it's what I love to do. I love being on stage. I love being in front of an audience, and I absolutely love interacting with the fans and the friends and the family. So it's really cool.
It sounds like you like to inspire, to help people understand that when you're in your passion, you're motivated by that passion and that will to keep it going. And when you do that, people and opportunities show up.
Well, and I was really lucky because I've known Mark Rosner for a number of years now. And I've watched him build big records from when he was Rosner Management back in the day. I've watched him build that. And, you know, it's great being part of that family, both with Big Records and Pierce Media, both with Don Pierce and Pierce Media. Um, all of that stuff is fantastic. And now they've got Hive Music online, which is an absolutely huge stepping stone because it allows for a larger and broader audience. And it's built with musicians, for musicians in mind. So all of that stuff combined is amazing. So, you know, like I said, I've been very, very blessed the last few years. Although we've had our share of trials and tribulations, and we've had the stress, we've had all of that stuff. Now it's starting to pay the dividends, and everything is coming together like it's supposed to. And we're very, very proud of what we've accomplished between my wife Carolyn and I. We've accomplished well, I'll quote one producer. He said, "What you guys have accomplished is 1 in 1 million."
Mm-hmm.
He said 1 in 1 million artists accomplish and get to the level you're at. And he said that's a huge accomplishment and something to be very, very proud of.
Absolutely.
And we are.
Oh, yes. And, you know, hopefully you can mentor some other artists as you continue to go along, and you can create another 1 in 1 million.
Absolutely. There are so many wonderful artists out there. And you know, it's their time to be heard. So, you know, I've offered it several times. Anything I can do to help out another artist, I'm always willing to help out. So I jump in and talk and do the things that need to be done. So I'm always available to help out and mentor another artist.
So with that said, I'd like to know what was like your hardest lesson learned that if you were to mentor an artist that you would share with them?
Oh, wow. Trying to pick one. Carolyn's over there shaking her head. She's like, how do you pick just one? I guess the hardest lesson that an artist can learn is to be very, very careful who you let manage your career.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of people out there that they've made it their job in life to take advantage of up and coming artists and people that don't have the knowledge as they're coming in. And a lot of them claim to be producers, a lot of them claim to be managers, a lot of them claim a lot of different things. And we've actually learned that lesson the hard way.
Mm.
So that would be something that I would caution any of the new emerging artists to watch out for, is to do your research and to do your due diligence before you put your trust into somebody that promises you the world.
Up there in the spotlight, you're a million miles away. Every ounce of energy you try to give away as the sweat pours out your body like the music that you play every day. Later in the evening, as you lie awake in bed, with the echoes of the amplifiers ringing in your head, smoke the day's last cigarette, remembering what you said.
You know, and that's a little challenging because as an artist, you know, you want to trust someone that says they can help you. And then if you have a bad experience, that kind of puts a damper on your excitement to have your voice, you know, pushed out into the world. So hopefully, people can reach out to you and ask advice and say, hey, you know, I got this person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it is tough. It can be discouraging. But the music business is not a kind business at times. So you would have to develop a very thick skin, because there's going to be people that absolutely adore you. And then there's going to be those people that get on there that have nothing better to do than try to make everybody miserable. And you've got to learn to just let that part of it go and go with the stuff that's good and that challenges you to be even better. Because all the bad experiences you have, along with the good ones, they are all going to build you to where you want to be. It's a steps and plateau process. You'll climb, and then all of a sudden you'll plateau off and wonder, man, what am I going to do next? This is my wife's adage on this, just so you know. And then you'll climb just a little bit more, and then you plateau off for a period of time, and you're trying to figure out, man, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? And those are just the things that are building you and preparing you for that next up climb you're that next incline that you're about to go to. And if you keep pushing through those little plateau areas, you're going to keep on going up there. And there's plenty of good people out there that are willing to give you a hand, as long as you're willing to look for them. Because there's no book written on how to make it in the music business. You know, it's you jump in and swim, and you paddle as hard as you can.
Yeah, and paddle as hard as you can away from the sharks that are all out there waiting to bite. What is, you know, the key for staying in that strength, staying strong to be able to climb that ladder and know that you're going to make it? So, like, you know, is there something that you would do routinely or think to yourself so that when this hard time showed up, you were still able to, keep going?
Number one, you need to have a great support system. That's the key in itself. The music business is so tough. It's not something you can do yourself. You've got to have a team. You've got to have people that are there to back you and push you harder and harder and harder. And I've been very, very lucky that I have that. I have a team that pushes me and that doesn't allow me to, if I start to get in a space in my head where, you know, I'm just not wanting to do this particular thing, that they don't let me get there. They buoy me up and push me forward to do those things and to get them done. So that's the key to being able to continue on and to keep on climbing and pushing, is to have a support system behind you that's there for you no matter what.
And you're very fortunate that you have had that and you continue, which causes me to think about the music industry from 40 years ago and what it is today. It's completely changed.
Oh yeah, this is a new music industry. It really is.
And so to navigate it, because you've got the social media and you've got a million different locations, you know, you can put your MP3s, and finding that right team can be challenging for a majority of the artists that are out there. So what have you seen as the major difference between the years when you were building your legacy and playing around town to what you're doing now, where you just did a remix of Bob Segar's song?
What did she say? Well, here I am on the road again. on the stage. Well, here I go, playing the star again. There I go, turn the page. Well, here I am, on the road again. There I am, up on the stage. Well, here I go, playing the star again. There I am, there I go.
Well, there's huge differences between then and now. Back in the day, music was delivered in a whole different way. You know, I still love the days when you listen to the records and the vinyl and all that. It was so good. And then it went from that um, to cassette tapes, and then from cassette tapes to CDs, and now that then you go to the CDs and then the MP3s, and now you've got all these download sites and everything else. It is so tough to keep up with all the technology, but the differences are so huge that there's no comparison from 40 years ago to now. It's so easy to get your music out there and get it heard, but you've got to make it so that it's done the right way. A lot of artists don't realize that when you write a song, you need to have that copy written and get it in the Library of Congress so that it protects your music. Just because you put it on paper and call it your song and date it, yeah, that gets you a little protection, but it won't stand up in court if somebody steals your song. I learned a hard lesson on a few of my previous releases that you need to embed your music with your information, with your IRSCs, with your information and all that, so that the radio stations that are playing it can actually track and get you the money that's due to you for your streams and your downloads and your sales. You've got to have all of that stuff. So it's like swimming through a maze.
Wow.
So you learn all of these different things as you go along. And I've gotten to the point now that, hey, all right, I know automatically I need to do this, I need to do that. But the younger artists don't realize that. They get so excited to throw their song out there and get it heard that they wonder why after a month of it being out there that it's only been listened to by 300 people.
Good point.
And that's the tough part. It's because when you're releasing a song, you need to have at least 6 to 8 weeks of prep time and marketing on that song before you release it. That way you can build the excitement on the song. So when it comes out, people go, oh man, I've been waiting for this. And then they merge on whatever site that it's coming out on. And they're wanting to hear that song. So those are important things that need to be done. And those are important things for the new and emerging artists that they need to do and make sure that they do correctly. You know, it's so important if you want to build your name out there. And touring and being live on stage is the other one. Yeah, people want to hear your song there on the radio or on the MP3, but they also want to see you in person. That's where the connection is made. So you need to be on stage, because people, if you're not out there constantly, people kind of tend to forget who you are because there's so many artists out there. So you need to be out there playing. You need to be constantly doing something on your social media, letting people know what's going on, letting people know whether it's a a TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. Whatever they choose to do, whatever their favorite is, to make sure that they're constantly letting their fans know what they're doing. And the other important thing is when you've got a fan that takes the time to send you a little note on or ask you a question, man, stop what you're doing and take the time to answer them. Because that's who's buying and listening to your music. And if you don't have the time to stop and care about what they're doing for you, they're not going to buy your music anymore. And they're going to tell people, hey, this guy he's not worth it, or this girl or whoever. And so you've got to take that time to engage with your audience and your fans as well, because they love to know things about your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
If you look on my site, you see that my wife Carolyn, in our travels, we post stuff about the personal things that we're doing, whether it's out having a nice meal or we're out enjoying the ocean. We share that with our fans because they love that too. They want to know who you are, not just the person on stage or behind the song, but who that person actually is.
Well, that allows for that personal connection, and they feel closer to you. You're not just a musician on the stage, so they can feel that connection with the music and the message that you have. Well, it sounds like there's a guidebook that needs to be written for up-and-coming artists.
Absolutely. And you know what? We may do that over time.
I was going to say it sounds like the two of you probably could. So it doesn't have to be long. Just the points that you just talked about, and maybe a few more, and maybe reach out to other mentors that you've had along the way and say, hey, would you like to add to my guidebook? And people would appreciate it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, absolutely. There is no doubt about it. And find producers that you trust. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of great producers all over the nation. So it's not just Nashville, Tennessee. There's great producers in Texas, all over the nation and all over the world. So find those producers that you're comfortable with that are going to give you the sound that you want. And make sure it's your sound, because there's so many people trying to be other artists. Mm-hmm. George Strait is the only George Strait. Alan Jackson's the only Alan Jackson. And you can't be them. You've got to be who you are. And that's who people are going to start to follow and start to love is you. So find your niche, find your personality, and run with it. And you'll find out that it's a whole lot easier that way. Because, those are my heroes. George Strait, Alan Jackson, Willie Nelson, George Jones, Waylon Jennings, all of those. I grew up on those. But I'm not them. I'm Stephen K. And I've got my own sound and my own way of doing things. And I do a bang up job with it. So,
I would agree with that. Yeah. So what are your plans for the future?
Well, we've got a lot of different plans for the future. We've got tours coming up for 2024 and for the rest of this year. I'm part of the Carolina Rise Up TV tour, which we are planning for November. It starts November 7th and ends on the 11th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So we've got that going on. We've got a lot of shows coming up. We've got a lot of different things that are coming down the pipe. New music, new songs. Everything that's music, I'm going to be there and be involved in. So that's what we do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because it never stops.
That sounds like that's great. It sounds like an awesome life to have. And I would love for people to be able to see you live and support you. So where can people find out information about your tour dates and the other things that you're doing?
My new tour dates will be going up on my website at www.stephenkmusic.com. You can also get me at at stephenk.world at Big Records. They've got my artist page up there as well. You can listen to my music. Pretty much that new song went out everywhere. So all your favorite downloads places, from iTunes to Deezer to YouTube to Google Music to iHeartRadio, XM Radio, all of it's out there. And we're adding more and more every day as the release builds. So you can find, if you want to check out one of my previous albums, Memories and Milestones, just look up Stephen K, Memories and Milestones, or you can go directly to my website and you can punch on one of the tabs there that'll take you to the music sites. So, I mean, we've got a lot of stuff planned. My new tour stuff will go up soon on my website, so you'll be able to get my tour information there. Yeah, check it out and have fun with the music. And I hope everybody just absolutely loves Turn the Page. So far, it's been nothing but positives. We've been just getting showered with, oh my goodness, man, this is wonderful. So what more can an artist ask?
I agree.
And have somebody love your song.
Absolutely. And it's a great song. I've watched the video, and I plan to listen to it again and again and again, because that's a great song, and you brought a really nice twist to it. So thank you. So thank you, Stephen. This has been a great conversation. I think it's a lot of information that has been helpful and will be helpful for a lot of people. And I'll be looking for that guidebook.
Perfect. And we're compiling our information as you speak. So, it's a very good possibility that in the near future it'll be out there and published.
Great. Thank you, Stephen.
You are very welcome, and thank you for having me on today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, I loved it. We'll talk later.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.